Hello everyone. So I had to record a video for one of my graduate courses on a slightly different view of my vocation story, and it had a time limit. So I recorded it, and after I uploaded it for that class and it's all submitted, I realized that some of you might want to see the same story. So I'm going to put that in here now. So I hope you all enjoy this slightly different version of my vocation story. For a different version of my vocation story, like the one I posted a while ago, the link is up there. Hello everyone, my name is Amanda and this is my week 5 story. So I often get asked, exactly why did I discern consecrated virginity? How did that happen? And that's the story that's just gets really interesting. You see, after I graduated from high school, I actually entered a convent. I had discerned religious life, and I had joined a convent in Spokane, Washington for a few months after high school. And then it became very, very clear that that was not where God wanted me to be. He had other plans for my life, and those plans involved leaving the convent and going to college, where I got my undergraduate degree in theology. And it was in that time that I first heard about consecrated virginity, and I started to read all sorts of resources I could get my hands on. Now, there aren't a whole lot of resources available for consecrated virginity, but there are some. And the ones that I found that were really helpful were Father Thomas Dubé's And You Are Christ's book, as well as the United States Association of Consecrated Virgins. They have a website at consecratedvirgins.org that is very helpful. It has a really nice information packet, and they also are publishing, they're in the works of publishing a series on the vocation, which is very helpful for those discerning. So I read all of these books and I wasn't sure where to go from there, because consecrated virginity isn't a very well-known vocation in the church, at least not in this country. And I wasn't sure who I should be talking to or what I should be talking to. Who do I need to approach about this? So I waited until my family moved, and I ended up moving with them. And the parish priest we had wasn't someone I really got along with very well, so I decided not to bring it up to him. Instead, I waited until we got a new priest less than a year later, and I approached him and I said, "Hey, Father, would it be possible to meet with you sometime? I have some stuff I'd like to talk to you about." And he said, "Okay, when should we meet?" So we scheduled a time to meet, and I went in with all of my books and all of my resources, and I was like, "Father, this is what I've been reading about, and I think I'm called to be a consecrated virgin. How do I discern this?" And Father was like, "Well, we can start by reading some of these books together. We'll go over it. I'll send in a letter to the bishop and see if there's anything special he wants us to talk about in discerning it." And so that's how it started. It turns out there's never been a consecrated virgin in our diocese, so we didn't really know how to approach things. The people who knew the most about the vocation in the diocese was myself and my spiritual director, who is also my parish priest. And we did what we could. We researched a lot. We filled in the bishop as we were going along. And after a few years, Father's like, "Why don't we just petition the bishop and let's get all formal now?" So the bishop knew I was discerning. So then I wrote a letter, and Father wrote a letter, and we sent it to the bishop saying, "Hey, Bishop, if it's your will, Amanda would like to be consecrated." And the bishop said, "That's really awesome. I'd like to meet with Amanda." Now, I'd met the bishop before when we were on World Youth Day together. We were actually bus buddies. It was kind of funny. We shared a bus seat because I got car sick, so I had to be in the front. And he's the bishop, so he gets to be in the front because he's special. So we spent some time together on some buses in Poland and stuff. So that was pretty cool. So I knew who the bishop was, and the bishop knew who I was. Going into that meeting, though, I was really nervous because the vocation of consecrated virginity depends on the bishop. The bishop is the one who decides if this is or is not your vocation. And if he says no, that's the end of it. So I was really nervous going into this, and I prayed a lot, and I got up there to meet the bishop, and the bishop was just like, "Let's talk for a little bit." So he asked me some of my history and a little bit of what's gone on in my life in the past. And then he goes, "You know what? I think this is a great idea. I'm going to talk to Father, and we're going to have you pick a date." And I'm like, "What?" So yeah, that's as fast as it went. The bishop was like, "Hey, pick a date." So then I went back and talked to Father, and we submitted 3 dates to the bishop, and the bishop wanted to be able to pick the date that worked best for the cathedral and his schedule. So we had submitted 3 days, and the date that the bishop ended up picking was January 1st, 2018. So I became a consecrated virgin on January 1st, 2018, and it was amazing that this has happened. So this vocation journey started before high school even, when I didn't think I was called to marriage, but I didn't really know what else there was. I knew that religious sisters existed, which is why I had gone in that direction, and I had been discerning with religious communities because that's all I knew growing up. I didn't know that consecrated virginity was even an option. And once I heard about consecrated virginity, it just spoke to me. And it was so amazing to be able to say, yeah, I think this is what God is calling me to. And it all managed to work out in God's perfect plan. I could not have planned it the way it happened. And I honestly didn't even expect to be consecrated this soon. A lot of dioceses that have more consecrated virgins have systems in place where they want you to be in like basically formation for years after you petition the bishop before the bishop will consecrate you. In my case, that did not end up happening because the bishop knew who I was, he knew my history, and he knew how much I had been discerning this vocation. And it wasn't just, I think I want to be a consecrated virgin, I just heard about it last week, which happens sometimes. The bishop needs to make sure that the lady who is requesting consecration really knows what it means. Because once you're a consecrated virgin, you are always a consecrated virgin. There's no dispensation from this. It's, once you're a bride of Christ, you are a bride of Christ forever. And that's just beautiful. So that's my vocation story. It's not always like the big moments. There were no St. Paul moments, even though I would have totally loved a St. Paul moment just to be like, tell me what you want and I'll do it, I promise. That didn't happen. It was just the little things, and that's okay. Little things along the way, books, talks, priests I've met along the way, they've all helped me bring me to where I am today. And today I am a consecrated virgin, a bride of Christ. And that's just beautiful. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed Lent, and I will see you next time. Subscribe and hit the little bell thingy so that way you know when the video gets posted for each day during Lent, because I don't know what time they're gonna get posted. So I will see you all next time. Goodbye.